I think everyone would agree that setting boundaries with family is very, very awkward. I oftentimes get asked questions about the family scenarios and basically how to have a relationship with people without going crazy is kind of the way the question is asked. So you have to set boundaries, but it's not easy. It feels like it's wrong. Nobody wants to say to relatives, no, my kids can't come spend the night with you. It just feels wrong. Like nobody wants to say that. Boundaries also feel unloving. And when you tell someone no or you put up a boundary, it's easy to feel like you're rejecting them. It's also easy for them to tell you you're rejecting them. And if you love me, why would you do that? And it certainly feels like setting a boundary is a lose-lose situation because you want to have some kind of relationship with your relatives and you want them to be around your family in a healthy way. It feels like the only thing that's going to happen is everyone's going to get mad and everyone's going to lose. But in reality, I want to shed some light on this. Setting boundaries is the right thing to do. Our whole life with people has always involved boundaries. When you're a child growing up with siblings, do we have boundaries? You better believe it. They're a little messy, but you touch my cereal, and I'm going to let you know there's a boundary. You put your arm on me when we're sitting in the back seat on a road trip, like I'm going to let you know there is a boundary. Boundaries are something that always have and always will exist in all relationships. They tend to happen more organically. I think that's part of the reason why it's challenging to set boundaries like with extended family is because it's hard for it to be organic that way. So any kind of boundary feels like you're doing something that's wrong because it's so outside of the box. Anyway, let's go to this next thought. Setting boundaries is the loving thing to do. If you have a friendship that is beginning with someone, your friendship has natural boundaries. If your new friend said to you, "Oh, by the way, for you to be my friend, we play in a volleyball league on Tuesday nights, and so you have to come to that." Like that would be peculiar. And we go bowling on Wednesday nights, so you have to go bowling with us to be my friend. So setting boundaries is a loving thing to do. It's not a odd thing to do. It is what every relationship organically has. If someone falls in love with someone, they wouldn't say to them, "Hey, I'm falling in love with you, but you can do whatever you want when you're not around me, and I'm going to do whatever I want when I'm not around you." Most people would not sign up for that because no, if you and I are going to be a significant item in each other's lives, then there needs to be boundaries. I'd also say this, that good boundaries create an opportunity for a win-win relationship. Boundaries are what enable great relationships to work. That doesn't sound very romantic. You might think that two people have a great relationship just because they love each other so much. And that is certainly a huge part of it. But great love causes organic, great boundaries. I'll say it again. Great love causes organic, great boundaries to be set up so that that love is protected. Without great boundaries, great love will be destroyed. So boundaries is what enable a win-win relationship. Imagine going to Disney and they have no structure. Like there's no lines. It's just dog eat dog. You just whoever just makes their way onto that ride, you can throw elbows, push people, do whatever you want. There's no line system. You can hop over fences and gates and just, it's a free-for-all. Would the experience at Disney be the same? Imagine highways with no dividing lines, with no boundaries. So I want to draw you a picture to kind of give you a mental strategy for how to approach boundaries with family. I want to first of all ask you this. So if you look at this picture, here's your family and the path, the life that you're living. This is the life that you're living. And here's your extended family, any number of people, any number of family units, and this is the life they're living. The question becomes, what causes the divide? Can't we just all be on the same path, going the same direction? I don't think so. I think what causes the divide are values. Values represent how you look at life and how you think life should be lived. It's what you're pursuing. It's what you're protecting. And everyone doesn't have the same values. And values determine how you make decisions. It determines how you raise your kids. It determines how you spend your holidays. It determines how you spend your vacations. It determines any number of things. It determines how you spend your money. And so when people have different values, it causes this divide. Once again, the divide isn't necessarily bad. It's just necessary. If you want to go east and I need to go west, I can't go with you. Not necessarily bad. Go east. But if I need to go west, there's an organic boundary caused by the fact that we're going in opposite directions. Now, the problem becomes with extended family is we feel like because we're family, we must all be going the same direction. But is that the truth? Not necessarily at all. So let's say that from your extended family, they're on a path going in a direction that you're not going in, and so there's this divide, but you still want to have relationship. So the question becomes, how do we maintain relationship? And here's the thought I want to give you. Create opportunities, not just boundaries. Boundaries are necessary. I think ideally our boundaries are like pretty white picket fences, not barbed wire fences. But boundaries are absolutely necessary. There's no way to escape any kind of relationship with any organization or human beings without having boundaries. But I want to talk about how to create opportunities. Oftentimes we think when it comes to family interactions, we think, you know what, I am not going over there, and they are not coming over here. And we think, okay, let's just put up this fence. I need to stay away from them. They stay away from us. And there are some extreme situations where that needs to happen. But what I want to encourage you with is, what if you create an opportunity somewhere here in the middle? Especially when it comes to certain types of events, maybe birthday parties, holiday events, where people are invited to this safe opportunity, where you create a chance for people to have relationship and enjoy each other. Because let's face it, if your values are different enough, you're not going to enjoy being with these people over here. And they probably won't enjoy being with you over here. But that's not what has to happen. This can be a safe place where you create a you could say kind of a controlled environment where it's going to be healthy for everyone involved. For some people, when it comes to a holiday, instead of inviting everyone to their house, where maybe it's a situation where, well, how do you get them to leave? They may not leave. They may spend the night. What do I do then? Or if you go to their house, you might be stuck in a situation where you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what the environment's going to be like. I heard a story recently of someone who went to a family's gathering for a 6:30 dinner, and they had their small kids with them. Dinner was ready at 9:45. Like, what do you do? That's pretty frustrating. So I've heard of families that rent out a activity facility, a facility where you can go and play games, and it's rented out from, for 2 hours, from 7 in the evening to 9 p.m. There you have a controlled opportunity for people to come experience something together in an environment that has organic boundaries. Maybe you have a relative that says, hey, I want to take the grandkids and go shopping this coming Saturday. And maybe this relative has values that do not align with how you're raising your kids. So maybe what you can do is set up this kind of situation where it's a controlled situation. Maybe everyone goes together as a group. Maybe you set up a timetable. We have from 10 until noon or 9 until 1. We're going to go to these 2 or 3 stores. We'll go to this restaurant. And so you have a controlled environment that way. And maybe that means your kids don't go alone with that person. But I want to encourage you with this one final thought. Concerning creating opportunities, not just boundaries. Go on the offensive instead of being on the defensive. And by offensive, I don't mean go offend people. I mean, if you know that a holiday or a situation's arising where families should come together, instead of kind of waiting to see what happens and waiting to hear what idea someone has that's crazy and is going to be awful for you, why not just say, you know what? I'm going to think of an idea that's going to be great for everybody and healthy for everybody. And it's a situation where it's going to be good for my kids. It's going to be good for us. It's going to be good for them. Create that opportunity. Instead of just sitting back and waiting for someone else, because everyone has a crazy uncle, everyone has what we think is a crazy aunt. We may or may not be right, but this person is always going to think of, there's always people, they're going to think of just ideas that are so, fill in the blank, obtrusive, things that just won't work for everybody. They think it sounds great to them, and then you're put in a spot where you're going to have to say, we can't do that. So I would encourage you to look for ways to be on the offensive and create opportunities, not just boundaries. But I'll finish this video by simply saying this. Boundaries are natural. They have to be in every relationship. It's what makes relationships be able to thrive together. So being a person that puts up healthy boundaries is how you're loving people well. And you create opportunities for relationships to be healthy and long-lasting. But set up boundaries with white picket fences. Because if you don't set them up with white picket fences, you'll end up setting up barbed wire fences and eventually brick walls. So I'll leave you with that. I wish you the best in all of your family endeavors, especially with the holidays coming up. With that, I'm going to sign off. Thanks for watching.